What's up, people? Texas. It's not all that bad here. Now, I suppose it was bad. Anyways, I brought this beast from Tacoma, Washington. The neck is missing. The neck is behind the truck. The truck's right here. The truck, they're gonna come and unload it tomorrow. Apparently, I'm a day early. I don't know how. Usually, I'm running late all over the place. But if you hear that noise, that's my bunk heater is working. It's not warm, but it's not cold. I bet it's like low 40s, which is fairly nice on the short. So, military truck, Oshkosh, 2009, has a cat in it. The part blew me away. I just realized this. So I had a chain down. I took all the chains off. If you look underneath, it's airbag system. See, the airbags are up, and it's front air ride suspension and a drive axles have airbags too, and the steers right there. So I had a chain down right here, had a chain down hooked right there, and I one more in the back. So I took this truck from Tacoma, basically Tacoma, down to Fort Hood, Texas. That's where I am right now on the base, spending the night on the base. I didn't start this truck. They drove it on and shut it off. Can't believe it. The air in it, it did not lose any air whatsoever in 5 days. I don't think brand new truck can do that. How the hell can they do that in a military truck? Can somebody explain to me that? Because this guy has no air leaks. I mean, it will stay up for a week with full of air. Longest, it's above 50 degrees. Soon it cools down, everything shrinks, and you start finding the air leaks. But this thing, I took it through, it was cold as a guys, like 6 degrees, which was cold. You would think it would lose air and the airbags drop. That's my biggest fear anytime I haul something on airbags. I'm trying to find the button, deflate the airbags so I can chain down on the suspension, like the one that's bottomed out. Well, this one don't even have a air drop for the airbags. Weird. I don't know. As long as I've been turning wrench, as long as I've been driving a truck, I never seen a truck holding the air for a week and going through the different varieties of air temperature. So I think I can hear coyotes. Yeah, I can hear coyotes. Anyways, then I spoke with the mechanic on the base where I picked this thing up. Didn't know that either, but they make C-15 Cat in 2020 strictly for the military. So you can get a C-15 Cat, cannot get it. The military can get a C-15 Cat, single turbo with no VVAs or any kind of emissions. Because military, any sort of combat vehicle, which this is apparently a combat vehicle, they don't comply with the emissions, which I'm not criticizing, nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't want to deal with that crap if I'm in a war someplace fueling a jet or something. Speaking of that, it's a jet fuel, but non-hazmat because this truck never been used. It's been used just for the training. But that's the story. Yeah, so the Caterpillar is off to this market, but they are still in the market in that. So C-15 blocks, heads, cranks, everything's still being made as we're speaking, but for only military purposes, which is cool. I thought the Caterpillar's completely out of the truck engines, but apparently they're not. So as long as they're gonna make them for somebody, I'm in good shape because I can still buy parts for this guy. So transmission shifts great. Not really, but getting used to it. It's a lot different than one I had, and though it's 18 speed. And then tomorrow I'm gonna get unloaded, and I'm gonna go pick up a 63,000 pound coil, which is going to Kansas, and I'm in Texas. So it's picking up like between Dallas and Fort Worth. Apparently there's a steel mill. So I got myself a coil, weighs 63,000 pounds, which is the heaviest thing I ever hauled on this type of trailer. When I had a step deck, I hauled 72,000 pounds on a triaxle trailer. So I'm glad I got a bunk heater too, because I don't have to idle. It's like, it's cold, but it's not cold. Fine. And almost 11 o'clock. It's past 11 o'clock. That's my view for the night. Military base, just hanging out. So the reason I unhook, so I don't have to do unchaining, unhooking in the morning. That way, if the guy's gonna show up, they can just drive it off, knock on the window, or give them the paperwork. They can sign it, and then I hook back up, and I can freely leave. At the beginning of the video, I said I'm early, day early. So I loaded on Thursday. I got unloaded Wednesday. Then they told me show up like before noon on Thursday. So which I did. I think I showed up like 11. By the time I got everything said and done, it was almost 1 o'clock West Coast. So it was pretty much like 4 or 5 o'clock Central Time. I left, drove a little bit. Then I got in on the chain up blast, so I didn't drive in Oregon all the way out the same day. So I spent a night. Then I drove to, I don't know what I drove, Laramie, Wyoming. I drove all the way down to Wyoming, and then I arrived here pretty much. But before that, there was 2 more trucks. They loaded on Wednesday afternoon, and they still in Wyoming. That's what the guy told me when I called him. I says, hey, I'm here. He's like, how? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's been 5 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It says 5 days. It's like 2,200 miles or something like that. 23, no, 22, 21 something. So it wasn't too bad. But those 2 other guys got loaded on Wednesday, and they still in Wyoming. So I don't think they're even going to be here tomorrow because Wyoming's still closed. Speaking of that, I need to check right now to see if they reopen it. But he's like, well, thanks for coming early, man. Well, we're still in Tacoma, Washington. We're just about to leave today, which I talked to him like 5 p.m., 4 5 p.m. today. So that's first time I'm actually ahead of the schedule. Usually for me, I'm running late. Anywhere I show up, you late. I'm like, I know what else is new. So, but I'm kind of ready to go home, but at the same time, I'm the perks of working because rates is actually doing fairly decent, and it's a fair amount of work right now, so not too bad. Like, it's never enough, but in trucking, like, they will pay you $5 a mile. You're like, hell yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, it's like, I need 6, and then they give you 6, and like, oh hell yeah, and then a couple weeks later, like, I need 7. It's never enough. So, but you got to be on a budget. I have a feeling trucking is going to be suffering very pretty soon. So, where the economical situation heading to. Jesus, I'm getting back into politics again. But I don't know. Maybe not. Hopefully not. But so far, so good. Like I said, 2020 was fairly rough, at least for me. I had too many switches. I went from a grain hopper, bought this trailer back on, got kicked out of grain hopper business. Then got back to detached work. And now, tell you a little secret. I'm thinking to go haul cattle again. I don't know. I like literally, I miss it. The more I'm thinking about it, like it's a good time to haul cattle. Is completely like it's different, man. Especially like in the summertime, which I didn't do much in the summertime. In the wintertime, I did majority of it in the wintertime. I'm kind of psyched. Not psyched. like I like it and I don't like it. It's a missed feelings about it. Like when you're not doing it, like you want to do it, but then when you're not doing it, no, when you're doing it, you like, screw it, I hate it, like sleepless nights, stuff like that. But then when you're not doing it, you're like, man, that wasn't bad, you know what I mean? But the people I was working with, I felt like they took advantage of me. So I need to find some sort of other source to work with somebody, because some of you guys are gonna say, just go to feedlot and get it. No, that just doesn't work that way in like cattle hauling. It's a family industry, I call it. You can see the business from outside, the trucks going back and forth. To get into it, it's fairly hard. Like you can get into it, but somebody will ride on you like terribly. Like you're just not gonna make nothing. They will prove a point to you, like yeah, just get the F out of here, like we don't need you. They will give you work, but it's not gonna pay nothing. So, or they take too big of a cut. So you gotta get a source, somebody you can trust, so they don't take advantage of you. And I mean, I got a couple, but it's not gonna be like a full-time deal. Like I can do that all the time. And plus, if it comes down to for me to do cattle, I wouldn't want to do it full-time, because it's a very, very hard earning money. Like I said, you have no, like I had a couple videos, like you have no schedule in it. Like in my opinion, somebody who does cattle full-time, like that's all what they do. Like they just strictly haul cattle. Like dude, like you guys freaking nuts, because it's a tough living, man. It's a very tough living. So, and for me, it's like I'm not a night person. Like I can do maybe a couple days, but then I get goofy, and I can't. Even though you sleep all day, you run all night, sleep all day, run all night. Like I don't know, maybe I got older, but it's a tough one, and it's hard to express yourself what you go through when you have a lot of, like, the whole ideal for me, like understanding when before I start hauling cattle is like, well, so what? You got to drive all night, like big deal. But then when you get your first load of cattle, and let's say it's like a 6 o'clock at night, you have to go 700 miles, and you're like, oh shit. Like, you get tired midnight, you can't go to bed. Like, you put your eyes on the dashboard and you just like you have to go, because you can't go to bed or take a nap. At least for me, the way I was doing it, like I will not take a nap. It doesn't matter how tired I am. Like, I will drink more coffee, start singing music, talking to myself like I do now. And I will continue going till I deliver him. But sometimes, depends who you work with. I think twice it happened to me. It's like I got loaded in Missouri, and they like haul ass west. What do you mean? Just go west. 70, 80? Like Interstate 70 or 80? Yeah, just go 80. Like how far west? Like we will call you, and you just start heading west. You going west, like you pass Lincoln, like you pass Omaha, Lincoln, like York and Grand Islands. Like I hope they're gonna call me. Next thing you know, like you almost by Colorado. Is like, yeah, they're gonna be feedlot on the border with Kansas. So go south now, and you go south to unload them. Like that's just how cattle works. Somebody didn't know that, but like sometimes you get a load of cattle and they don't figure out where it's going, which feedlot they want to bring it to. Like I'm speaking of feeders. And speaking of that, there's a couple people coming into my video regarding hauling cattle. Like, oh yeah, man, I don't know how you can do it. I actually delete those videos. Like they were, I wouldn't say rude, but they're like, how can you call a whole animal to get killed? I was like, look, I didn't haul it. Like I think I hauled twice animals to getting killed, and though they were old cattle, they will die tomorrow either way. Majority stuff, like if you see a cow truck going down the road, it doesn't mean that he's taking cattle to the slaughterhouse, which is 95, like probably 80% of the time they don't take the cattle to the slaughterhouse. They take them to the feedlot to get them fed up, and then they're gonna go to slaughterhouse. Or it could be milking cows, so they go into the dairy farm. So there's a lot of misconception regarding cow truck to take the cattle to the slaughterhouse. If you see a pig truck with a hauling pigs, yeah, those pigs most likely is going to the slaughterhouse. I know that for a fact. Every one of them, they go to California. So a lot of vegetarians over here if watching it, just to clarify that part. But I don't know if it will happen. I don't know. It just like I'm thinking out loud basically. So interesting deal. But like I said, I miss it. From all the work I did, like reefer drive-in, well, I did a little bit drive-in, a little bit of reefer. I did flatbed, step deck, RGN. I did grain hopper and cattle. And I bet my favorite ones, it was a grain hopper. Like, it's so laid back. I literally can do like a half an hour video why I liked it regarding grain hopper, but abbreviate real quick. It's just so laid back, relaxing. There's no appointments, hardly ever any appointments, and you don't have to be like concerned being late, concerned to being early. As long as they give you like a hole where you can dump and a chute where you can load, that's it. It's like simple enough. And even if like you didn't make it that day, nobody cares, because it just like any kind of product you're hauling is not in high demand. The insurance is very low because majority of the time the stuff you haul, we're talking about maybe a couple $1,000s worth of material, like the grain or DDG, or I mean, if you haul organic, it's a lot more higher. I mean, if you haul seed corn like I did, I mean, that's a expensive stuff. I'm like talking about maybe like 50,000-60,000, but nothing like this deal, because the guy I talked to, he's like, this specific truck, when it's brand new, it costs like over $300,000. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it costs for the military, but we all know why. But the cattle, the idea I liked about a cattle, we'll go back to the cattle, well, you don't depend on somebody else. Like, you load them yourself and you unload them yourself. So it's like, it's up to you how quick you want to do it. So you don't have to deal with the people, especially when you deliver them in a feedlot. It doesn't matter what time it is, what time of the day it is. You just unload them and then you're free to go. There's no paperwork. You don't have, like, it is some sort of paperwork, like you fill up, you scale in, scale out, but it's very straightforward. But you don't depend on somebody else. Like in a reefers, like you got to get a forklift driver, then you got to pay the lumper fee. Like day to day, yeah, I have to sit and wait till they're gonna unload this thing. And though I can drive it off myself, I told him, I says, can I drive it off? He's like, yeah, if you're not active duty, you're not supposed to drive military vehicles. Like, that's something first time I heard, but apparently that's how it is. And then I started thinking, I hold quite a bit of military stuff, and you never, they will never let you unload the equipment. Like, they actually have a soldier who is certified to drive a truck, because I'm not certified. So that's the story. Kind of slept a little too long today, but now I feel like sleeping. And we're gonna go, I think I'm gonna go home this week, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, time for me to go on the internet and see what the cattle pod's selling now for. Maybe there's gonna be auction, and maybe I will. If I find the cheapest spread axle, there's a bunch of cheap tandems, but like the neck of the woods I live in ideal situation, you have to have a triple. With triple, I'm talking about triaxle, but the spread axle, at least bare minimum. Like, the tandem doesn't work, because if you haul cattle, you're always overweight. But I didn't say that. So, just between you and me, man. So that's all what I got. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, because I got a little sink outside, and wash my face, and I'm gonna go fight the pillow. Thanks for watching all.